Obuna ran, panting, frantic, as though chased by a spirit from the underworld. Sweat poured down his face, his eyes wild with pain and terror. Branches slapped his skin, but he felt nothing. His feet barely touched the earth as he sped through the forest, heart pounding louder than war drums. Gim, gim. The air was thick, the afternoon ghostly still. Then splash! He tore through the Nza stream, water rising around him in chaotic bursts. Even the river's creatures seemed to plead for mercy as he raced past. His tie flew wildly, whipping across his face like a possessed car wiper. He stumbled on the narrow path but didn't fall. He couldn't afford to. Where was he going? The answer throbbed in his chest. Naagu, the farm, his mother. Hidden in the shadows, Chike, his best friend, watched, confused, intrigued. He had only come to pay a visit after hearing Obuna was back. But what he saw was not the Obuna he remembered. It was a shadow, a storm. So Chike followed, and what he discovered would tear the veil off everything they thought they knew. This is no ordinary homecoming. Secrets buried in the soil are clawing to the surface. Eyes are watching. Not all spirits are dead, and not all friends come with good intentions. Gird your loins, hold your breath. Only the strong will survive this heart-stopping, soul-twisting journey. The forest is whispering. The story has just begun. Once upon a time, in the village of Igbudu, there lived a young man by the name Obuna. Obuna was the first child of both parents with 4 other siblings. Obuna was kind, humble, and respectful. He was industrious and resourceful. He was the kind of child every good parent would pray for. But Obuna had had a tough, hard life. His father died when he was 9 and left him with his widowed mother and the 4 siblings. After his death, Obuna was forced to grow up fast. He took over the responsibility meant for adults as a child. Not only that his father was dead, but Obuna was the first child, and a boy for that matter. In Igbo land, the first child, especially boys, comes after the father. Most of the time, when things are hard in the family, they are forced to shoulder responsibilities bigger than them. This is what happened to Obuna. In his bid to protect his mother and 4 other siblings, Obuna lost himself. He lost his childhood and grew up faster, but he did not care. So long as the family was faring well, Obuna was ready to carry this burden without complaint. But his mother, instead of her being proud of her son, she became a torment in his life. Her name was Okweri. After her husband died and the ritual completed, Okweri called her son, sat him down one evening, and began to speak to him. Nami, my father, now that your father is late, you have become the father of this house, she had said. Your father died without leaving much for you and your siblings. I don't want you to be like him, Inogo. We suffered when he was alive. I do not want the suffering to continue. I want you to hustle, understand? Hustle hard, my son, and make it real big. Break this chain of poverty. Chain. I have suffered so much, she muttered as one about to cry, feigning sadness. Biko Mama, please do not cry again. I will do my best and see that things work out well. Please do, my son. I do not want you to be last. Look around. Okay, Mama. This was the heart-to-heart talk she had with an 11-year-old boy. And since that day onward, Obuna gave it all he had. He could be seen from one construction site to another carrying cement while his mates were in school. If he was not in a construction site, Obuna would be farming for people. The money he made would be given to his mother for the family's upkeep. He was forced to drop school. If I am in school, who will take care of my mother and my siblings? He had once answered his teacher before dropping out of school. But you are intelligent, Obuna. You need
to finish elementary school. We could barely eat tichanzube. My mother needs me, and so also my siblings. My child, may God help you. But that was just the beginning. Obuna had a lot in his hand. He was the one raising money for the mother's fish business in the market. But yet, Okwere was not satisfied. She was not a good woman. Okwere was a bad woman. The husband had tried living with her, always correcting her, but she never ceased. She could drive a sane person crazy by her incessant demands. She was never satisfied with what she had. She wanted more. She monitored people's lives, comparing even when her husband was alive. "Look at Ojugodin," she would say to her late husband. The husband took her out for shopping. She bought a lot of clothing, wrappers, hollandaise, lace. "Oh woman, when will you stop? Your end will not be good if you continue this way," her husband would say. "How can you be in your house and be in another person's woman? Wait for your time. The woman you are comparing with is a woman that her husband has businesses everywhere. How many do we have? Be careful. There's always a price for every unworthy life," he would warn her. Unworthy? What is unworthy about wanting good things in life? If you can't afford it, say it. But telling me all this gospel of a talk is what I don't know where it's coming from, she would rant. Okwere was the epitome of a greedy woman. She had been that way right from the time her husband was alive, and when he finally passed, her incessant hunger for more didn't reduce as one would expect. It increased, always wanting, always desiring things her money could not buy. She constantly compared herself with others, and in the process made her children sad. Obuna was the one carrying the much load. He grew up having it sealed in his mind that he must make it. Average was not accepted. Having such a mentality is not bad, but it becomes a problem when it's driven by comparison and competition, hurting oneself in the process. His mother, Okwere, failed to understand that just as our fingers are not equal, so also our destinies differ. She couldn't take it easy on her son. She complained about every little thing. "The kind of food we eat, it is time we start eating with meat. I am fed up with Azu fridge, frozen fish. This soup is watery. Oh God, when will life taste better?" "But Mama, we should thank God for what we have instead of complaining," Obuna replied one day. He was 18 at the time. "Not everyone has a mother. Your children are not complaining. We're glad to share what we have. And that is where you are wrong, my son. Do not be satisfied at this level or you will get stuck." "But Mama, not the way you are going. Please don't complain every time we want to eat." "Okay, I've heard." But she didn't. She never changed. Her nagging grew worse. She made life miserable for her son. Obuna was laden with the burden of pleasing his mother. One day, one of the village boys teased, "You better get enough money today or else your mother will not allow you to have peace." The statement made Obuna sad. He watched the boy for a while, said nothing, then walked away. "Mama, look at the position you are putting your son and yourself," he sorrowfully muttered as he walked home, head lowered. Okwere's attitude and character were fast spreading like a disease in the village. The women gossiped. Some hated her guts. "How can a mother be so mean? Are you the only widow in this community? Widows are humble and patient. They protect their children and carry the burden. But Okwere, she is different." She was suffocating her son, gradually pushing him away from his life of innocence, and she was not ready to stop anytime soon.
Years passed, and Obuna grew into a strong, good-looking man. The battering from his mother had not changed him, but his patience was wearing thin. He could only get a job with a low-paying salary. He became a gatesman in the community. At this point, most of his schoolmates had left for the city in search of greener pastures. Obuna had no one, but he believed that one day help would come. He strongly believed. He vowed not to soil his hands to make money. He wanted to wait and earn clean. One day at his duty post, he was called in by his boss. His name was Chief Edmund, the richest man in the community. The source of his wealth could not be traced. Some said Yahoo boy, others said oil and gas. No one really knew. All they knew was that he suddenly rose from nothing to a man of great influence with investments around the world. He needed a trustworthy gateman, and Obuna was introduced. That was how he started working for him. His pay was minimum wage, but for someone like him, it was a good salary. He was happy and thankful, but deep inside, he wanted more. His mother had not stopped talking. From one step to another, my child, try and find the way. It is information that you need. Try and talk to your Oga. Beg him to show you the way. But that is being too forward, Mama. I am not in his level. Then become one Noah. Find how to become his level. He's a man like you. But Obuna never listened. That day, he walked in almost trembling when he was called. I hope he's not going to fire me, he thought. I haven't done anything bad. Until he was ushered into the man's office. Come in, Obuna. Thank you, sir, he said immediately. Do not be worried, Obuna. Today I did not call you as your Oga. I called you as a friend. A friend? Obuna repeated, confused. Yes, a friend, Obuna. Relax. You have not done anything wrong. Okay, sir. Follow me. Let's take a walk. And as both men left, he began to give Obuna a tour of his multi-million mansion in the village. What do you see, Obuna? He asked as they walked. You have buried money here, sir, Obuna answered. Money is good, Obuna. I know, sir, I know. You can build the same, he suddenly said, halting and fixing his gaze on Obuna. Me? Yes, Obuna, why not? Let's go back. When both men returned, Edmund opened up. As I was saying, Obuna, you can achieve anything you want in life, so long as you are determined. I am a determined man, sir. I have no doubt, Obuna, but do you have the heart? For everything in life, there's always a price to pay. Although you are recommended to me, that's not all. As soon as I set eyes on you, I knew you are the kind of person I could speak openly to. I am honored to be in your service, sir, Obuna said humbly. Obuna, his voice echoed again, this time firmly. How far do you want to go in life? I am ready to work hard, sir. Who is talking about working hard here? He almost thundered. Obuna, life is not about working hard. I'll speak openly to you. I belong to a meeting, a gathering. I am giving you an open invitation. My people are gathering here this coming December. Not everyone is invited, but you've touched a special place in my heart. I'd be glad to see you. He paused, watching Obuna's reaction. A meeting, sir. Please, sir, I have a lot in my hands. I could barely pay the Umona monthly fee. I don't have... He was still speaking when Chief Edmund cut him off. You are invited, Obuna. Your dues are on me. My people would love a personality like you. That was how it all started. Gradually, Chief Edmund began to lure Obuna into the secret cult he belonged to, from one meeting to another. At first, everything looked normal, like just one of those big men's gatherings. Flashy cars, fancy food, money was speaking, real hard currency. Obuna felt out of place. What do I have to do with these men? He asked himself. No, my spirit is fighting me. So he opened up to his mother. He told her everything. Then belong, Mama said hastily, her eyes wide with excitement. Finally, God has remembered us, my child. This is it. But Mama, there's nothing about God in this. These men are not ordinary. I don't know how that man got his money, but I doubt he is clean. I am not surprised. Mama jumped up. When are you going to become wise? In this life, people no longer care how you got your money. I'm warning you, Obuna. Don't miss this opportunity. It may not come around again. But Mama, I'm telling you, my heart is refusing the offer.
What heart, Obuna? What empty heart? Show me your heart so I can break it in pieces, she snarled as her son walked away to his room in anger. Onye Berebe, foolish man. Your mates are getting married, riding costly cars, traveling overseas, and you are here, village champion. You want to end up like your father, don't you, Obuna? Open your eyes. Her voice rang like an uncontrolled bell. Her children watched sadly. That night became a restless one for the family.
It wasn't long before he gave in to his mother's torment. He couldn't remove her words from his mind any time he was alone. Village champion, fool, no one is building a bungalow. All your friends are making it big. Her sharp words sliced through his mind again and again, until at some point, Obuna began to reason like his mother. Mama is right in some ways. I do not blame her. She wants her son to be big. As soon as Obuna started reasoning like his mother, her words became a snare that held him bound. They clogged his clear reasoning. Her word blinded Obuna. And one day, he approached his boss. He had returned to the village as was his manner. Obuna stood before him and spoke up. If the opportunity is still open, sir, please, I am ready to do whatever it takes. And the rest was history. Obuna began attending their meetings. He felt more relaxed. Gradually, he began to forget who he once was. He began to live big. Money flowed into his accounts. These men gave him connections, and Obuna's mind was blown. Within a few months, he had made enough money to build and buy cars. You see, my child, it wasn't as difficult as you thought. Have we soiled our hands yet? His mother asked proudly. Obuna only beamed with a smile as they celebrated his first car ever, a costly Mercedes. God, I thank you for this day. Now I belong, the mother said, dancing around as her son sprayed her money. But that was just the beginning of Obuna's pain. One day, he was summoned to an urgent meeting. Once he entered, his boss and the leader were there. The money you have seen is nothing compared to what lies ahead after your first task, Obuna, the leader spoke firmly. You are not lured. You wanted to belong. To prove your sincerity, a sacrifice is needed. A sacrifice? Obuna muttered like one drowning. Do not interrupt me. For every greatness, there must be a sacrifice, a commitment. Obuna, it is time to commit. When Obuna was leaving the meeting, his feet could barely touch the ground. Before he could argue, both his master and their leader had left him and walked away. He suddenly became a stranger. You must commit. What he was told to do was unheard of. Obuna trembled. His feet shook. Sweat poured. Mama, he groaned, you have destroyed me. You have ruined us, Mama. But it was too late. Obuna began to seek help. He started hiding from his group, but he couldn't. Sleep was taken from him. Warnings kept coming. Time is short, Obuna. The commitment or your life. The warning kept coming. And when he could no longer bear it, he yielded to their pressure. One day, he returned unannounced to the village from a trip. He asked his younger sister about their mother. She went to the farm, brother. She went to harvest some. Before she could finish speaking, Obuna had entered his car and driven off. On his way, he lamented sorrowfully. Mama, you ruined everything. Mama, you have ruined yourself and me. He trembled while driving. His attitude was strange to his people. They had gathered to see him and only watched as he drove off. One of them was his best friend, Chike. Chike had come to visit after hearing Obuna had arrived. He was told by Obuna's sister that he had gone to Agugu farm. For what? He went to see Mama? Really? Strange, Chike thought. Instead of going home, Chike hurried in the direction of the farm. He soon saw his friend's car parked in one corner. He rushed down the narrow path, his mind racing. Why couldn't he wait for her return? Why is he in such a hurry to see his mother?
What he eventually saw shook his very bone marrow. Obuna reached a point where he could no longer continue with his car. He came out and began to run. On reaching his destination, he tried to compose himself and remain calm, but he already looked like a man raving mad. Dirt, mud from falling, a wet shirt. He approached his mother with a weird smile on his face. "Greetings, Mama," he stuttered, looking faint. "My son, Obuna, my son," she chuckled, rising from where she bent walking. "Is it really you I am seeing? Look at you, money is speaking." "Mama," Obuna opened his mouth and closed it. Nothing came out. "What is going on, my son? Are you all right?" Okwere asked, studying his face. "You look troubled." "I am sorry, Mama," he was all he could say. "This is where it landed us, Mama." "What are you talking about, Obuna? Speak to me. Why are you looking at me this way?" "Mama, forgive me. Your incessant wanting has brought ruin on us." "What are you talking about, you fool?" "I am sorry, Mama," he blurted and suddenly pounced on her. As the mother screamed for help, Obuna overpowered her. It was horrific. Chike watched as Obuna murdered his mother in cold blood and harvested her organs. Obuna fled after the deed was done. Chike was in shock. He couldn't dare show himself. This was not the Obuna he knew. Obuna hurried off with his package wrapped in vegetable leaves as Chike knelt sobbing. And that was how Obuna's life was ruined. The case was reported. He was arrested for murder. Parents, be careful of the words you speak to your children. As Christmas is approaching, do not be the type that will push your children away into the world. Save your daughters, save your sons. Ask how they get things that look suspicious. Okwere was a bad example and it ended up claiming her head. God's blessing never puts one to sorrow. It makes rich and adds no pain. Happy and Merry Christmas, everyone. If you like this story, please share, comment and subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned for more captivating stories. Bye for now.